Hey there, guys. It's Kage DQT coming at you. And today I just wanted to have a talk about the game and some other things that I've seen on the Facebook group in terms of why the game is the way it is, what's going on. It's funny because somebody at which I don't know if the post is still there, maybe taken down. Somebody was pretty disheartened by this game, saying it wasn't true Dragon Quest game, this and that. And, wasn't a big fan of the whole gacha. I mean, look, I get it. But this is all we have. And you may wonder, though, why is this all we have? And it's actually a pretty simple explanation. It's because this is all the market can really afford. They've tried some other games. Those games just didn't do well. Those games did not perform in global. They've got one more down the pipeline that we may see by the start of next year, which will then be a fight between this game and that game. And, I would urge people to stay away from that game if they want to keep playing this one. But that's ultimately going to be up to, the big spenders and everybody to decide where they want to throw their money. But that isn't the root cause of the problem. That actual problem comes from something somebody said, I want to say about, 3 weeks ago in the Facebook group. And, I talked about Dragon Quest X with them. And this person was like, oh, it'd be cool to play this. Okay. I'm like, yeah, well, it'd be a subscription game. It wouldn't be like this free-to-play stuff here. You'd pay like 10 or 15 bucks a month for it. There's a free trial. And that guy was like, oh, I won't be playing that then. And you are a cheap motherfucker. And you're part of the reason why we are in this situation. Because although you may not pay $15 a month for that game, there's a high propensity that you're going to pay a lot more in a free-to-play model. And for some reason, I don't understand when this happened. I don't understand because I've played MMOs, monthly subscriptions. I never had a problem with it. But there was some sort of shift or trend or something where these companies tricked a majority of gamers into like, oh, subscription is bad. I don't get my value out of that. But if I go play this game I don't have to spend any money on, cool. Of course, then you've got the pay-to-win mechanics. You've got other stuff involved. You even have some crazy wackadoos who try to say that expansions in an MMO subscription are pay-to-win because you have to pay for those. And to those people, go to hell. I legitimately hate you. I really do. Because we all have collectively paid a lot more money to play these games because that subscription model isn't favorable. And, is it because some people can't afford it legitimately? Or some people stupid? I really don't know the root cause of it. I just know that people would rather not pay $15 a month for a game for a year, and they would rather do free-to-play, and then one day, all of a sudden, they just dropped $300 on that game in the blink of an eye. Just to get ahead for a little bit. They don't want to play the game where it's based off a time investment, and, I get it. People with more time, at that point, they win. They beat you into the ground. But at least, at some point, everybody kind of catches up. Everybody gets to the same point. Where in these games, you look at our leaderboards. You look at just... Let's just look at the ranking board real quick. Let's look at the disparity right here in terms of everything. Like, in terms of just people coming into this game, where's... this is what I'm running for my mastery levels. But that's nothing compared to some of these higher-end guys. I mean, you've got people who broke 2 mil CP, no problem. I mean, Peter's at 2.25 mil. I mean, he's never going to have a girlfriend, but he's rank 1 in this game. Artea, same thing. Well, different story, but same thing. It's just like these guys have thrown in lots of money. And Peter won't... I don't know if Peter knows the amount he spent or not, but it's definitely a large number, and any of these guys here, they have thrown in lots of money. Max is really good at playing the game on auto. He couldn't play this game on manual. In fact, if you fight this guy in RTA and he manually takes over, you generally win. But bashing aside and ribs and whatnot, the fact of the matter is, all of these people, myself included, are a real problem with this industry because it preys on mental illness. It preys on a lot of things. Whereas that $15 a month, how many of those people there, just looking through this list, do you think would play a monthly subscription game as opposed to this? Generally, maybe about 20% of them, maybe even less. And you may ask, why though? Why is that the case? Why would they not take the safe bet of doing, let's just say $200 a year for a game? Well, one, they don't have the time, which is pretty apparent when you look at the RTA list. I mean, our current RTA list is filled with cheaters. It's filled with people who auto and have unrealistic scores. These people all claim they don't have time. I've got kids. I've got this and that. You don't need these gems. You really don't. You don't need these titles either. Most of you already have top 10 titles. You're all entitled pricks, to be honest. I really don't like any of you who do this. You're all cheaters, and I've even told it some of your faces before that, you're absolute scumbags for doing this because you don't need the gems, and you're robbing people who legitimately play this game from actually getting those rewards. But hey, nothing I can do about it. The game really doesn't care. There'll be some units down the road that may adjust this to some extent. Booga may be one, which, if he is, I will definitely do a guide video on how to derail these auto fuckers hard. I will go out of my way to sabotage you fucks, because you guys ruin the whole system for everybody. And I've said it before, I don't even know if I would be that good at RTA if you guys weren't autoing the fuck out of it. Because I have a top 10 title. I busted my ass 1 month to get it. It was a pain. It was not fun. I mean, but I beat you fuckers. I beat you fuckers at your own game with hard work and determination, which none of you guys know, except I think 15 manuals a lot, but that's a different story. Needless to say, though, none of those people, for the most part, would pay for a subscription-based game because they don't have the edge on people and they don't have the time. So it's not a worthwhile investment to them. But they've got the propensity to throw down $10K a month on this game. It's fucking crazy. So that's why we have the system we have. So when you see people complain on there, well, why do we have this Dragon Quest game? This isn't a real Dragon Quest game. Well, this is the system we have. This is what we've been put into a box for. And if you really wanted this to all change, you'd have to really, just speak with your wallets, invest in games, like FF14, like other projects, like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 looks awesome. There's no microtransactions. There's no bullshit with this game. If you have a PC that could run it, pick it up. If you have a PS5, grab it next month. It's sure to be a great game. And you guys got to skip on this bullshit. Like, you motherfuckers who play these Madden games every year, like, you guys have it worse than us. Could you imagine having to get the same units every year and also pay a box price to get in? Like, you motherfuckers are pretty stupid. I mean, there's levels of stupidity here. You guys are, like, top of the class. You pay a box price for the same shit every year with some minor roster changes. You have to get the cards again. Holy fuck. But you do it. You do it anyway. I mean, it's $1 billion business. And you know what? If people started pulling back on this, you know what? I got more enjoyment out of a game called Mutant League Football on the Sega Genesis back in the day than any of you motherfuckers have playing these new age games now. I know I sound like a fucking old man at this point, but that was a cool game. I liked it. There was no trading cards. There was no loot boxes. None of this shit. It was just a fun game. Why can't we have that? Why can't we have those games? These companies are going to keep making a lot of money off people. Yeah, this gacha system sucks. It's not the best in the world. I know. I've spent a good amount of money on it. Not crazy amounts like some of these motherfuckers here, but I've thrown in a bit. I mean, now I'm throwing in like $200 a month, which to some people that's a lot of money. To some people it's nothing, but it at least gets me through. And I will say that this game does reward long-term people, because units like Sorrow the Manslayer came back again. Hell, even Vera here came back. Even the Ghost has a purpose. I mean, I play through a bunch of different teams this phase, just messing around, but they reward long-term players, and they let you power up some of these units. Because again, S-Stark is coming. S-Stark's Blossom is going to be great. It's going to be very interesting to see his synergy with a couple of the other units and how we could use him in RTA. So they do reward people. I've played games like Fist of the North Star Gacha where I dropped a bunch of money on a unit. 2 months later, that unit was obsolete, and that was it forever. It was like there was no second win to any of these units. There's nothing, and there was no other purpose to that unit after a while. It's like, well, I had a good run. I got to rank 2 in arena for a month with this new unit. Now I got to go buy the next one, which we don't have that here. Thank God. So there are some pluses to the system. So, again, next time you see like an MMO or a subscription-based game, maybe give it a try. Okay, sure, you can't play it for X amount of hours a week. You don't have as much time with it. But just think about this. Most of those games aren't trying to get you with a bunch of microtransactions, and if they have some in there, it's purely for like a server move or some cosmetic items that you don't really need. As opposed to these games here where you're buying for power. You're buying to better the box at hand. You're buying to do things to get a one-up on people. And that can get very costly. So, I don't know, I just felt inspired to do this after seeing that post today, and the other guy who was all like, man, I just can't do that. I just $15 a month. Nope. But those same people would have no problem at some point when their guard is lowered to drop a bunch of money in any of these games. It doesn't have to be this one. It could be any free-to-play game out there where eventually they play it enough and they do turn into spenders. You could look on the Discords, either mine or some others. You could see people slowly go through that transformation from pure free-to-play into a light spender into a bigger spender. They know who they are. I'm not going to name any names besides maybe Zero, but they know who they are. And, it happens. It happens. So, with that being said, if you do want more games with quality, you got to really speak with your wallet. This system, this stuff isn't going anywhere. It's got people that are going to keep it afloat as long as nothing else comes along and takes their attention away. So if the new game comes out and it's really good and they all throw their money into it instead, well, this one's done. But if that's the case, then those people are the biggest suckers in the world, because they threw tens of thousands of dollars in this game only to get bored and to go restart on another one, and they should all be made fun of appropriately. But that can happen. That's the reality of things. Will it happen? Who knows? But gamers get bored, lose interest, and move on all the time, and sometimes they just kind of settle into one game like how I have. I mean, if it wasn't for this community, wasn't for you guys, I probably would have quit this a while ago, to be honest. I would have moved on to something else or kind of scaled back on mobile gaming altogether. Because, I mean, I played Marvel Snap, I quit that. I played Octopath. Quit that one too. That was not my cup of tea after a while, but Anyway, this video is definitely a bit long-winded. I do apologize for that. This is kind of just me throwing my thoughts out there. Oh, speaking of which, the giveaway is going to end in, I think, 2 days. And, well, you guys know what you need to do. If it doesn't get done, if it gets done, cool. If you made it this far in the video, God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and all that shit, I guess. I don't fucking know. And also, if you do want to see me talk about any other topics, gaming-related stuff, or playing some other stuff, I know there's been some suggestions here, and I still got to go play Undertales again. It's kind of, well, it's getting better. Probably can't see it on camera, but it's getting better. We'll get back to that at some point. But other than that, you guys have a good night, and thanks for watching. Take care.